on a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Institute of Border Studies, Kosubosu Baruten, Kwara State, 2021, SB 828. Mr. President, my highly distinguished and esteemed colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill, which seeks to provide for the establishment of the Institute of Border Studies, Kosubosu Baruten, Kwara State. This bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, 17 October 2021. Border studies is an interdisciplinary field that critically examines border and identity understandings found in political and everyday discourses. The Institute's central curriculum, as regards border studies, will focus on comparative historical and sociological state building, geographical perspectives on changing meanings of borders, critical geopolitics, markets and regional development, and life identities in borderlands. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is right to know that though the agencies saddled with the job of policing and monitoring our borders are trying their possible best, there is the need to have a proper institute, a well-organized and thoroughly comprehensive institution that is saddled with teaching personnel and stakeholders involved in the process of manning our borders with adequate real-time knowledge. Amongst its basic functions and objectives, this bill seeks to create a platform which will produce qualified, dedicated, skilled, and professionally trained individuals to teach and lecture personnel involved in the security of the nation's borders using international best practices and skills. Benefits. By the time this institute is established, it will address the security problem of our border communities. It will help to strengthen the nation's already porous borders in line with global standards. It will stimulate public confidence, especially border communities and our national lives. It will also answer the question often posed by foreign investors as to the safety and guarantee of their direct foreign investments in our country. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill, if passed, will help Nigeria to have skilled professionals to deepen border studies. In line with Order 77.3 of the Senate Standing Orders 2015 as amended, a compendium of the financial implications is hereby attached. I urge you all to support the speedy passage of this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ibikunle Amosun, I represent Ogun Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, first let me commend Senator Umar Sadiq Suleiman for coming up with this bill. Mr. President, because of where this institute will be situated, which is a border town between, I think, Nigeria and the Republic of Benin, and with what is presently happening to us as a nation in Nigeria today, that our borders, most of the crises we are having, of course, usually starts from our porous borders. So anything that will deepen our knowledge, our understanding, our border communities, our border areas, will add value and will assist in protecting not just the people in those border areas, but all of us in the country. That is one plus for me for this bill. The second one, which is very important, is every day we complain about our young, able-bodied men, boys and girls, men and women, that doesn't have anything doing. If we now channel their resources to areas like this where they are educated, of course, we will be helping ourselves, because there's a saying that if we do not get our young ones busy, of course, they will get us very busy, which is what is presently happening now. This will afford our people. It's some kind of creating wealth for them, because after this training, they will be in a position to now use those knowledge that they've acquired. One, in the area that I've mentioned, in the area of security. Two, in the area of even developing themselves and even helping the community and helping the state, and by extension, helping Nigeria. So, Mr. President, without much ado and without not wanting to be repetitive, I want to urge my colleagues that we should support this bill to pass the second reading so that it can appropriately be sent to the respective committee for further consideration and passage. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. This is Senator Boacha Emmanuel. I represent Taraba South. Mr. President, the bill before us is important to us as a nation, and it is one of those suggestions. It will provide an immediate solution if the bill is passed in good time and taken to third reading and sent for assent. Mr. President, my support for this bill flows from the challenges we are going through now as a nation. The four benefits enumerated by the lead debater are all boiled or settled down on insecurity. In fact, the last one being interest of investors in the country. It can only be possible where there is peace and orderliness, where security of lives and property is guaranteed. We have these multiple challenges of very porous borders across the length and breadth of Nigeria, from the north to the south, to the east and west. Mr. President, when I raised the matter of challenge to our territorial integrity, a journalist took me on after the session and asked whether, do you know where is the borderline of your community? It's a very difficult question, because these borderlines keep shifting from time to time, depending on the interests of those in the border region. A particular farmer can even decide to shift a border of a nation, provided he's in agreement with his neighbor in the other country. If they can just go into agreement, let me take more of that land, because there is no an institution in place that should oversee this. I've said on and on that the immigrations are not manning our borders sufficiently, and this is no longer news. It's saying the obvious anyway. So I think it's important if we could have an institution like this whose duty is to safeguard or teach our citizens or specific people how to man these borders or understand where our border lines. We've had such controversies in other climes where nations rise to say, we will build even a wall. You know, we've seen that in the Trump government, where he tries to build a wall between the US and Mexico. So defining border lines is a very, very important thing for a nation to do and to know. So I think this bill is good and is coming at the right time, and I call on our colleagues to support this bill, that it will be pursued to a very productive level. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Those in favor of a bill for an act to establish the Institute of Border Studies, Kosobusu, Baro 10, Kwara, to provide for teaching, research, instruction, and training of students in border management and for other related matters, 2021, second reading taken, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TETFUND to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.